Hey everybody, Weem here. Welcome to KeeperRL. This is, as they describe it in one line, a sandbox dungeon builder with roguelike mechanics. Now, the dev sent me this game a few days ago, linking over to his Indigogo campaign, which at the time of this recording has 11 days left to fund, shooting for 5,000 and is currently a little over 3,000. But I went and checked it out and thought, okay, this is pretty interesting. I've obviously been playing these types of games a lot lately. This one's inspired by Dungeon Keeper. That's where it gets the Keeper element. And Dwarf Fortress, of course. And then it has these roguelike mechanics. That's where we get the RL. So the KeeperRL, that's where the name comes from. Now, it sounds weird, right? Roguelike mechanics. And yet it's a Dwarf Fortress style game. So it's something kind of odd about that, right? So normally we don't control the minions like I was saying, but in this case we actually can jump into our keeper and some of the minions that we create. And let's see, why don't I for now, let's get people to work while I talk. I'm going to go ahead and select these trees, and these are imps near us. They're going to go do this work for us. Anything we designate here, they're going to go do for us. So I'm just dragging and selecting some trees here, that'll work. And I've selected some of this mountainside to start digging out as well. So I hit spacebar, we unpause, and they're going to get on that. So there's kind of two big elements to this game. One is that we're actually going to dig in here, start gathering up resources, and building a dungeon, including traps for when we get attacked by creatures, and rooms for all the different things we need, libraries, prisons, all of this stuff. That's kind of one element of it. The other is the roguelike aspect, and that's where you actually can jump into your keeper and control him. In fact, I can show you that right now. I jump over here to this second tab up at the top right, select the keeper, that's me, I'm going to possess him. I am now in control of him, and the game goes into a turn-based mode, so everything's kind of stopped right now. Now I use the arrow keys, and with every step I make, everything else makes a step. All enemies, all of my imps, all of my creatures, everything. So I can actually move out and explore things. So that's the second part of this, is that you're going to go explore into the world. You're going to find other creatures, other races, and you can kill them, you can loot their stuff, you can bring, money back, items back, and individually equip some of your other minions with really good, weapons and armor and stuff like that you find. There's even legendary like creatures that you'll run into that have even better equipment. They have artifacts. So that's kind of the two big aspects of this game, and I found that really interesting. It's very different to combine those two, and so far in play it's been a lot of fun. So I thought, you know what, I need to show you guys this game. It's very cool. So what we're going to do here is I've unpaused it again, so they're out there digging, and I want to get my dungeon started. So I kind of have this concept. I've done it a few times now. Let me get back to my actions here, and I'll go through the controls for the game and kind of how this operates shortly, but I just want to get some of this dug out. We'll get them digging through this stone. It takes a little longer to get through this. And let's see. Let's do that. Do this. You know how I like things symmetrical, if at all possible. Okay. And then this is going to come into my dungeon proper. Yeah. And then we'll kind of figure things out from there. Okay, so they're going to come in here and dig. Like I said, this is the first aspect. We got to set up our base because we could be attacked at any point by some creatures. It could be dwarves, humans, lizardmen, elves. There's all kinds of stuff that's possible out there. So we've got to be prepared. Now, before I jump into any of this stuff, how this stuff works, I just kind of want to talk a little bit more about the game. This game is open source, a fully open source game. It is considered a dungeon simulator, and like I said before, inspired by Dungeon Keeper and Dwarf Fortress and everything. So you are the keeper, you're an evil wizard type, and we'll get into some of the other stuff too about that later with using corpses, doing necromancy, those kind of things. Obviously going out and killing innocent people in the town to take their stuff. Yeah, you're not the best guy in the world, but hey, sometimes it's fun to be the bad guy. Now, as I said, the developer contacted me, so I've been in contact with him, asked him a bunch of questions. I'm going to have a very hard time pronouncing his name. I actually asked him, I said, how do I pronounce your name? And he said, yeah, that should be interesting. Here, how about this? And he linked me to a translator, an audio translator. So I don't know if it's actually translating it fully correctly, but it kind of comes out as, what did it say? It's Michał Drazowski. That's kind of how it comes out. So hopefully if he's watching this video, he can let me know in the comments whether that actually came out right. It actually on the translator sounded something more like Michał Drzazowski, kind of robotic style. But anyway, yeah, so anyway, I threw some questions at him. I asked him about the game. I asked him about KeeperRL, the name, things like that. Let's see. There was an update. Right now we're playing the Alpha 7 version. And it looks like, I told him, it looked like there was about a, what was it, about a 3-week period between Alpha 6 and Alpha 7. I asked him if that was going to be kind of consistent. I went too far with that, didn't I? Oh, no, that worked out. Sorry, I'm trying to think about my dungeon now. Why did I do that? You'll see. I've kind of got this thing I do. But yeah, he basically said as far as updates go, it's kind of a 3 to 6 week thing. And the Indigogo campaign is about getting to the release, the 1.0 version. So he has a lot more stuff coming. I talked to him about some more about the game, about future plans, things like that. For example, I asked him what he was most excited about that's coming. And for him, it's the online mode. And basically, what he's looking to do is have these large procedurally generated worlds where there might be a number of people playing in the same world. So you and I might be playing with maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 other people, and we actually could end up fighting each other. So anyway, that's kind of a cool thing. I really enjoy these type of games, playing it by myself, being able to play for long periods of time, but I would love jumping into a big wide open world like that with a number of other people. It seems like it could be really cool, especially with some of the other updates he's talking about, like being able to come out here and build buildings. You can't do that right now, for example. You want your base, you got to dig into the mountain to do it. So he's got a lot of stuff planned, many more updates coming, and yeah, it's pretty exciting. So let me jump into all of this stuff now about our base, because our guys are running around like, okay, what's next? So one of the first things we want to do is we want to designate a storage area. And for those who have been watching Nomoria, I always say Nomeria. For those who have been watching Nomoria, you know about stockpiles, right? Or if you're playing it, you obviously know about it. So we need to have a stockpile. And the interesting thing is, I'm going to actually do this outside. This may seem really odd, but I'm going to do a stockpile over here, and while I'm at it, it might as well, actually, let's back this up a bit. It might as well dig into some of the iron that we need. Something like this. Now, there's no select and drag out an area here. You actually have to paint individually each tile, or you can click and hold. That's what I'm doing. So let me see here. Let me think about this. If I was going to do this here, I'm actually going to try and start drawing some of this stuff out real quick. And that means I can take this room to here. Okay, so like I was getting to, we're going to make this a storage area. So I'm actually going to paint down these squares. Now, unlike Nomoria or some other games, in this game, if you paint down a stockpile area, any material in there shows up in your inventory down here, and it's immediately accessible. You don't have to actually go pick it up in order to use it. So that's why I'm not going to worry too much about this being connected to the outside world. I'll probably throw a door on here, but you know, I don't need my guys to be able to access it from inside the dungeon. Just as stuff gets taken, it's going to get put in here. Now, right here, I think what I will do is I'll start digging out into some of the other areas. I'll draw this guy out here and say, hey, come get this. But I probably won't connect this into my dungeon, because that would shortcut some of the stuff I'm about to do in here, trap-wise and things like that. So we'll do this. Just want to get these guys going and gather in this material, because when I talk, I don't focus on what I'm doing. And one last bit here, we'll do some of this. I guess we'll just select all of this here and connect that. Cool, so I'm going to get storage here. And they're going to start dragging things into this. And, you know, we may have another storage inside the keep for other things we do, like this material. Probably don't want them to have to run outside to bring it. So we'll do another area in there. But storage is kind of the first big thing. Now, the second big thing is when we start to summon people, they're going to spawn, or at least certain types of creatures, they're going to spawn in essentially the barracks or wherever the beds are. So that's kind of the next thing I want to do. Now, you're not seeing it yet, but I want to have doors out here. Then I'm going to have some doors in here, and this part back here is the inside of the actual dungeon. So what I'm going to do is near these doors, that's where I'm going to put the beds, because essentially the way it works is when I create them, they'll spawn at the beds. Oh, I screwed this up a little bit. Let me think about how this is happening. I kind of need to see this area here. Let me deselect that. And this guy. Let's see. I could redo this. Okay. Yeah, we'll figure that out in a bit. So anyway, we've got the storage. We're going to end up designating bed space. I'm going to have to figure out exactly where to do that. Okay, now that I can actually see that, we can actually jump in and do this here. Something like this. So this is where a good chunk of our mobs will spawn. Mobs. Poor guys. The minions. That's where the minions will spawn. And like I said, that's some of them. Let me kind of run down through the options here and kind of tell you what this is all about. So basically, just as you saw me drag down the storage, I can do the same with pretty much all of this stuff here. And in some cases, it's stuff they build. In other cases, like the prison, it's just an area that's kind of indicated where you set it. So we've got treasure room where that'll kind of put down individual chests for gold. We have beds for spawning, training to train for fighting. The library is important because that's where our keeper spends time, and when he spends time in there, he gains mana. Mana is kind of a currency that gets used for everything, advancing and spells, things of that nature. So we definitely want a lot of that. Now the first thing I'm going to actually do is, we've got Beast Cage, Graveyard. This stuff helps spawn some other types of mobs. Torture Chamber, we can torture prisoners. Fun. Bridges to build over water, and that's pretty much that. We'll get into the other stuff later. Here we'll manage our creatures that we have, but what we're going to do is we're going to jump over here. Let me pause time. I'm going to jump over here and kind of run through here. So we can summon an imp, and in the brackets here, 4 is indicating that's how many I have. I can actually select this and then click on the ground, and you'll see them spawn around me. So I really should have spawned a couple of these earlier to get to work. And you can see it costs 34 mana. If we go into humanoids, we've got gnomes, goblins, ogres, and then a legendary. But in yellow, you can see we need beds. So they kind of give you a little tooltip of what's needed. We need cages to make these guys here, some of these animals. And that's kind of what these rooms are going to get made for here. I'll explain why. It's kind of a little trap of sorts. Sorcery is where we can handle all of our spells and learn spells. Black market, we can actually spend the money that we've gained on potions and amulets. So that's kind of that stuff. We've got also this window over here to build certain things like doors, barricades, and torches. And then traps. The first 3 we're going to get to build once we research crafting. I'll get to that in a minute. The cross swords show us who's in the world, what other races and things like that. This guy's just some tips. So we're going to jump back here because I want to research the crafting right away because I want to make some doors and barricades. So what we do is we jump into the book here. Instead of summoning creatures, we actually want to... Oh, so here's the funny thing. I just am realizing if I click library, we actually need to build a library first. So we're going to go ahead and unpause time. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and throw beds down since that's what this room is for. And I'll space these out a bit, something like this. Okay, and then we're going to dig out the library. So somewhere in here, I could do it in the back. I guess it's not a terrible place. I've never done right up to the edge. Let's do that, because I've never seen it dug right up to the edge of the map. Then we'll go ahead and select our library in anticipation. Now over on the right you can see the cost of the resources. The library is 20 wood each. What's going to happen is as I drag this down... Oh, that's weird. It did it gray. Can I not build there? As I drag the library down, it's just going to automatically spend the wood. Wow, we really don't have much. So that's it. We can make 6 of those. Let's get out here. Oh, and it's because we don't have the wood brought in. I think that's part of the problem. So I probably don't need to do a whole lot more wood. Oh, you know what? Maybe it was counting it. Because we had we had quite a bit. So it was probably counting that. We'll go ahead and highlight some of this anyway. Okay, so we have the library built, and you can see I'm just kind of hanging out over here, roaming around. That's cool. And the mana is going to slowly tick up. Now, if we had prisoners, and then we set to torture them, it goes up even faster. Sweet. So cruel. Let's jump over here to doors. It says 5 wood. We have some wood. Oh, it requires crafting, right? It's gray, Weem. We do have the library now, so we can actually go into our book, click library. Here's the things we can research. Tells us we need 50, we've got 220. Let's go ahead and hit crafting. We'll see some new options show up, and we'll get into those in a little bit. So let's see. Let's go ahead to... We did the crafting. We want to go over here to door. We have 0 doors right now, but 5 wood each, we can make a lot. So we're going to do a door here, 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 and then we'll do... those guys there. Well, we're also going to do one here and there. Cool. So there we go. Now let me jump into here to dig. So what we do is whenever I go in here and I choose humanoids and I make humanoids, they spawn at the bed. So I tend to have that kind of inside. But the beasts, I actually make rooms for them, and I never got to quite finish this in the last map I did, so maybe we'll get to it here. With the beasts, what I started to do was I dug out an area inside of a chamber, just inside the first set of doors. So pretty much what you're saying here. You'd have to get through these first two doors, then you would be in this chamber in the middle. And if somebody did that, then what I'm going to do is unlock these doors, and it will unleash the beasts that are here. That's the idea anyway. I'll dig out some more space in this room. And let's see, we want beast cages. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag some of these down. So it's not like we're going out and capturing beasts. That's not what the cages are for. It's just that this is where beasts will spawn that we make. And then down in here we'll probably put, what would we put in there? We could put a lab. Wherever we have a lab, that's where golems end up being made. But then my guys have to come work in here to do it. So the better way to do it is probably to put the graveyards in there. And then what happens is when we kill creatures, my minions will bring the corpses and set them in here, and then I can spawn, I think that's required, actually, I could be wrong. But anyway, that's how we can spawn some zombies and mummies and stuff. And that way, with a locked door, just by clicking it, I can lock them. I can spawn these and get them in here. Because I noticed with the wolves, if I just put them in the room, they actually ran out and just would start fighting stuff. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to lock them in. And if somebody breaks through these doors, I'm going to let them go. Just go wild in here. I haven't had a chance to test that, but that's the idea. So let's see. Let's keep going here. I've got a couple more ideas, then we'll just talk a little bit more about this. I'm going to do a door here, and then these are barricades. So while you can't really do walls, you can do these barricades. And I have not tried to do any like archery over these things or anything, but the basic concept, as you can see here, is that they bust through these two doors, then I unleash beasts against them. They have to bust through these doors, and I would have traps in these too. Then I would be fighting them with my other guys from right into here. And then if I had some kind of archers, they could be firing from behind this thing, and the enemy would have to go around. Anyway, this is kind of my grand idea that I have yet to put to the test. We'll see. Let me go ahead and throw a torch in here just for fun. I'll throw one here. And let's see. I'm actually going to open this room up, and we're going to put a training area in here. And they are all going to go on that because they've got nothing better to do. Cool, so you can see how this is shaping up. Now if I jump over here, you see that there's traps. I can't do these yet because I haven't studied traps. If I go back in here to the library, we have 717 points. We need 59 to advance, and we've got a number of things to choose from. Sorcery helps get us more spells. Our keeper more spells. Archery, I couldn't quite tell you. I think that would allow your creatures to use ranged weapons, but I've yet to find any ranged weapons. And in a video I watched, the guy had said he played a bunch of times and never used it, so I'm also kind of not going into that. Traps lets us make the traps. Ironworking, I'm not entirely sure just yet. It might have something to do with our workshops. Beast taming is what lets us make wolves and things like that. Goblins lets us make goblins. The alchemy lets us make lab. And basically you set goblins and gnomes to work in workshops and labs. At least that's what I saw in a video. I don't know if it matters. You can assign even ogres to work in a lab, so it may not matter, but anyway, maybe they have some kind of bonus. I'm not sure. Let's see. I'm just going to take these walls out because there's not really accidentally summoned an imp. I did not mean to do that. Let's see. Let's dig some of these out. Just because, otherwise we have extra. Cool, so this stuff is coming together. Now, one of the things we really want to do is we want to get some of these new mobs made. Let me first put down a training area. We'll go 3x3 in here for now. And let's jump in. So humanoid, so we can make a gnome right now, but we don't have goblin studied, so we can't make a goblin. Let's go ahead and study that real quick. Library, goblins, cool? Cool. We'll do alchemy so we can do a lab, and then now it's telling us we need a larger library. You can see we have the points, we just need a larger library. So that's where I'll actually go ahead and take care of this really quick. Library. And how much wood do we have? We have quite a bit. Let's just go ahead and fill this thing up. Because there's just points. It starts to require more and more of this library. We can obviously make this bigger, but that should be cool for now. Let's go ahead and summon some people. We got 675 mana, so we're going to go 2 gnomes, 1, 2, and 2 goblins, 1, 2. Dismiss, pause. Now you'll see them here. We got these guys hanging out down here. We had 2 goblins, 2 gnomes, and unfortunately I didn't set up any of the workshop stuff yet, so let's get that going. Probably inside here, right? And let's do this right here, actually. We're going to end up putting these kind of in the same room. Something like this should be enough room. And I'll leave a path because I'm going to have other stuff as well. Okay. So, let's see. Let's jump in here. We've got workshop, and we'll go ahead and set up probably a 3x2 for now. I don't really know anything behind these numbers. Maybe we'll go 4 and 2. And then we'll do the lab as well. 4, 2. So basically, I think I've kind of shown you how this stuff works. This first tab here, we jump into the monsters. We got the different monsters here. So this is the next thing I'm going to show you. So we've got, let me pause time. We've got our available creatures here, including ourselves. We can actually go into the gnomes, select it, and it shows the 2 that we have and what they're doing. So I can actually select one and then say, you know what, I want you to train, or I want you to work in the workshop or lab. And we can also manage their equipment and possess them. So let's see, we have the gnome. We're going to put gnomes in the lab. So you in the lab, you in the lab. And then we're going to select goblin, and we're going to say you to the workshop, you to the workshop. Excellent. We've got those 2. Now, you form a team, and this is really cool. It helps you go out and adventure in the world, right? So I'm going to actually select form team, and I'm going to select my team. I'm going to select the keeper, and then I'm going to take one of each. And if I want to do one of each, I select gnome, and I just click one. It makes it green. Then I go ahead and click another one. Now, this matters because you'll see it says L2. They'll level up, and sometimes you'll have a level 6 and a level 1. And you're like, you know what? The level 6 is coming with me. So as you can see, I went in and did that. It's telling us we have 3 monsters as part of the team. I say done. And that's it. Now if we actually go into the keeper and if we possess him, every step I take, the teammates are going to move as well. And they're going to want to come to me. I hit the wrong hotkey there. So if I go down, down, over, over, I'm going to just start walking around out here. You'll see that he's come to me, right? And the other one's come to me. So they're actually going to follow me out into the world to do stuff if I did that. I'm going to go ahead and hit U, which deselects it, like unpossesses him, right? And then we are going to unpause time. So they're going to go back to what they should be doing. So yeah, let's see. I think I showed you the black market. We don't really have any money right now, and we would want to make a treasury for that, a treasure room. And I've been kind of building those off of my library. Like, this is my own treasure. No one touch it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to select the chests. And basically, just like a storage room, this is going to collect coins. We kill mobs and things like that, the coins will be brought in there. You can see we have potion, we've got some armor lying in here. Very cool. And basically, when you want to equip this stuff, you can actually select like an ogre, for example, and you can select your level 6 ogre, is what I did one time. And I actually walked him over the stuff, and any tile you're over, you hit enter, and you can interact with it, including picking up and dropping items. So that's a way to equip that stuff. It's very cool. You can also just go in here. I can go into the keeper and look at his equipment and then select things. So weapon is nothing. I'm going to select it. He must not have anything to choose from. I select body armor, and here's some. He's got this here. Let's go ahead and do that. I think that's actually because it's available in the storeroom. No boots, no amulet. Cool. So we can dismiss that. Excellent. And I think he just automatically takes it. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. So technically, I suppose you probably don't have to run out here and pick something up. It might be that it just comes to you. I'm not entirely sure about that. Oh, wait, here he goes. Look, the keeper's walking out here now. So maybe he's going to go pick up that armor. Yeah, okay, so he does go and get it. That's cool. He went, picked it up, and he's going to head back and study. Excellent. Get more mana. Now, I'm not entirely sure what the skull icon is down here. I talked about the other resources. The first one's gold, by the way. Talked about these other guys. The skull, I believe, is like your overall world power, I think. When I was creating some of my creatures, I was spamming out a couple ogres, I noticed that number jumping up each time I made one. So I think it's something to do with that. There's no tooltip though. And this number here, the T number, I'm not really sure. You do get a score. If you die, you're given a score. But I don't think it's related to that at all. I'm pretty sure my score has always been different than that. But yeah, this you know, I'm hoping this kind of gives you the general idea for the game. I didn't want to spend too much time in here. I've kind of shown you the big part of it is building the dungeon, and of course there's a lot of different things to make here. I may do a series on this, so please do let me know in the comments if you want to see me play more of this in a series, and you know, maybe I would do a couple episodes, see how far I go. The game is kind of meant to be, you know, you build up the dungeon, you gain some power, you go out, fight and get stuff, and probably die. It's not necessarily built to play for you know, 30, 40, you know, 100 hours where you just go build crazy like a Minecraft or anything like that, or even Nomoria. You have resources here, but they're very limited, so you'll end up going through that pretty quickly, and you know, then it runs out, you know, so you're going to go out and kill things, and you may get some money and things like that, but the idea is when you die, it gives you a score. There's going to be leaderboards. Right now, built into the game, it actually shows you all of your scores, so you can, you know, see that you got your third best score, things like that. So it's meant to jump in, build some stuff up, go, you know, explore and die, you know, fight and die, and start over. So anyway, I'm hoping that as the game progresses, there's some modes that are maybe more open. You can set the creatures to non-aggressive, which I believe just means they won't come hunt you down, but if you go attack them, they're out there. So that's one way to slow the game down or make it last longer. But I love the idea of having a huge open world. Larger maps are coming, even though this is pretty big. He says he's going to have maps 10 times the size they are now. And as you can see, it's pretty big already. It's just that there's no other resources. But I'm hoping that down the road we have these 10 times the size of this map, and you can go out and even build castles and things like that. It would be really fun. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys this game. Like I said, I thought you might enjoy it based on what I've been playing, what I've been hearing from you guys lately. Definitely check out the Indigogo campaign if you feel like funding it. You know, if it sounds like a really fun game, you might check that out. And you know what? It doesn't matter. Even if you don't have money or you don't want to fund it, but you think it's an interesting thing, definitely tell other people about it. Maybe share it with others. You can play the current build, Alpha 7, for free. You can download it from their website. Down in the description, I'll have links to all of this. Indiegogo, the website, all of that stuff. So just cruise on down there to pick any of that up. But like I said, I hope you guys appreciate this, learn something about the game, and if you want to see me do maybe a longer running series of this, maybe 3 episodes or something, it's probably how long I'll last till I die, to be honest. I die pretty quick. But yeah, if you want to see more of that, please do let me know in the comments, and I may consider kind of picking up and you know, continuing and showing you guys more of the game. There is more to see, possessing your character and walking out here and fighting, some of that turn-based stuff. But I think I've given you kind of the good basics of it, and we'll leave it at that. So anyway, thanks again for watching, everybody. I appreciate it, and I will catch you next time.